Candlepin Stars and Strikes is brought to you by the Thompson family of dealerships in Nashua, New Hampshire, and by Tri-State Megabucks and the New Hampshire State Lottery, helping New Hampshire schools one ticket at a time. WNDS Sports presents New England's favorite bowling show. From Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Featuring the best bowlers from around the region. Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And now your hosts, Dick Lutz and Mike Moore.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Moore, and we've reached the top of the rung of the ladder series, the first ladder series of the new season, and a champion will be crowned today, and we'll have our first entry into the Tournament of Champions.
And we also have a brand new face, Anthony Pastore, here to take on, well, at 3 years older, or 2 years older, reasonably seasoned Dave Hodge, who's been on TV 4 times. This is Anthony's debut today.
And let's meet our bowlers. Thus far, form has held true as the highest seeded bowler has won each week of our first ladder series. Let's see if it holds true here this afternoon. First, last week's winner with a 402 triple, beating Chris Sargent 402 to 380. Our number 2 seed, Dave Hodge from Methuen, Massachusetts.
Coming in with an average of 126, his high single is 183, 470 is his best triple, bowling out of Academy Lanes in Bradford, Mass.
And Dave rolled a 662 in the roll-off to earn the number 2 seed and a terrific 402 triple in last week's win over Chris Sargent. And he will be meeting our number 1 seed from right here in Nashua, New Hampshire. Let's welcome Anthony Pastore.
Well, the family and friends are here. Got his start as a junior bowler here at Leda Lanes. Averaging 120, his high single is 180, high triple is 480, and bowls not only at Leda but in Natick as well.
Anthony rolled a 666 in the roll-off to earn the top seed. We will crown a champion this afternoon. Will it be Dave Hodge or will it be Anthony Pastore? Come back to find out. We continue with Candlepin Stars and Strikes from Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this. We began with 5. We're down to 2 for the championship of our first ladder series of the season. First week, Steve Plant beating Jeff Surratt. Then it was Sargent over Plant, then Hodge over Sargent. Now it's Hodge taking on Anthony Pastore for the berth in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. And we will crown a champion here this afternoon. Dave Hodge first to bowl on lane 34 at Leda Lanes, and we are underway. 2 young, up-and-coming stars in the world of candlepin bowling.
Ages 21 and 23. Combined, their age is still younger than we are, Dick.
Will it go? He's got a shot at it here, gang. He's got a shot at it. It won't go. It rocks. And that'll be a 10 for Dave Hodge to start out. Recent graduate of Suffolk University with a business degree. A former co-owner of the Melrose Bowl and Gloucester Bowl. Now working as the front desk manager at the Marriott Long Wharf in Boston as a spare. And I would imagine the Marriott Long Wharf is a place where there's a lot of activity in Boston right now during the summer and into the fall.
Love that place. Right there next to the aquarium, and so much going on now that they're finally getting all that squared away with the central artery and big dig.
Anthony Pastore's first time on television. And you know the butterflies have to be there. 21 years old, goes to Curry College in Milton, Massachusetts. He's a junior, majoring in communications. He wants Mike's job.
He can have it in about 10 years.
And he starts out with a 9 box. Mike's job, of course, aside from being here with me on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes, he's the host of the popular, highly rated New Hampshire in the Morning radio show on WZID FM 95.7. And Anthony Pastore gets rid of some of those butterflies in a hurry with a strike in the second box. Watch it again.
That'll do it for sure. That was a crusher. Look at that.
Right in the 1-3 pocket. Now Hodge works on a mark. Tries to break up the split. Look at that 4-pin move close to the 7-pin. It is now practically touching the 7-pin. Hodge on the head pin. Look at that. He kicked it over to the next lane. Man, oh man, you hardly ever see that happen.
Although we saw it 2 weeks ago, I think Steve Plant did it.
Here's a 10 box.
So he'll roll a ball down the left gutter to clear the pin out that came from the other lane.
Well, I don't know if we have that, if our video covered both lanes to see the replay of watch that pin fly from one lane to the next. Hodge right on the head pin, that time too full. Tries to break up the split, can't do it. The 2, 4, 7 on the left, the 3 on the right. Will he make it? Yes, he will. Great spare for Dave Hodge. We'll get to some of your cards and letters, and we've got a ton of them, and a great spare for Hodge in the 4th frame. Mr. P. Turner from Whitensville, Massachusetts, sent in a very nice note, and we appreciate hearing from you, Mr. Turner, and hope we hear from you for many years to come. As Anthony Pastore working on a strike, a 9-pin drop. It'll be a spare. Inside the strike. He's looking for bonus money. $50 for 3 marks in a row. $575 in the triple strike jackpot. Anthony Pastore right on the head pin. Puts 6 in the mark.
He is out to an early 6-point lead in completed boxes, but he's up against a spare from Dave Hodge in the 4th frame.
Missed the spare.
You mentioned earlier that Anthony attends Curry College. I believe that's where former All-Pro linebacker Steve
Nelson's the football coach.
Yes.
Sure. And that'll be a 9 box for Anthony. Anthony looks comfortable. He looks right at home. He doesn't look to be in awe of his surroundings.
Well, this is his home center. He worked here till he was a senior in high school, and that was about 3 years ago when he left. Did the junior programs here, so the lanes are not a mystery to him. Of course, the lights probably are, but as you point out, he does not seem to be affected by it.
Dave Hodge with an early lead, looking for another mark. Will miss the spare. Those single pins, we talk about them over and over again. How easy they look, how difficult they are. And that'll be a 10 box. I know you're sitting there at home saying, I could have made that shot. But let me tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. Here's Hodge, missed the head pin. Breaks up the 4 horsemen, and he's got a pretty good piece of wood there to help him out.
That's what he had, was it the 1st or 2nd box, but he had the 4 and the 7 squished together.
This is makeable. Got to hit the head pin. And there, it will not make it.
Oh, my.
Thought he was going to have it. And that'll be a 10 box.
So Anthony with 2 marks in his 4 frames as he debuts on television today for the first time. 21 years old, and there's the half Worcester. Some of the bowlers that you didn't get to see that just barely missed the cut for the top 5. Brian Feast, Rich Alice, and Chris Grimes were tied for 7th. Dave Chestercove also in there in a 3-way tie for 7th, and in 10th with John Winchell. 11th, Mike Morgan, just missing the cut by only 20 pins with 634. Took a 654 to get into the current ladder, and this was probably the narrowest we've ever had from 5th to 1st. Only 12 pin separated the top from the 5th bowler, 666 to 654. I mean, if Anthony Pastore had bowled 13 pins less, he wouldn't even be here today, but instead he is the top seed. Very, very tight ladder.
I want to acknowledge some of the cards and letters that we've been receiving and emails. Shirley Jenkins from Norwood, Massachusetts. Thank you for your note, Shirley. We appreciate hearing from you. Anthony missed the opportunity right there. in one of those shots that looks like it's easy with all the wood on the deck. One of the things about Candlepin bowling and the wood that's on the deck is you never know what that wood is going to do. Pair of nines for Anthony. 3 nines in a row, actually. 4-pin lead for Dave Hodge in the early going. Dave is trying to break up a split here. Now we're looking for a winner of this match, and secondarily, the score of the match becomes important because it has to do with seedings in the Tournament of Champions. There's Dave with a spare. We seed our Tournament of Champions by the score that determines the winner of each ladder series. Dave Hodge working on a spare. Throw a good ball. Watch out, he's got a shot at this, gang. He's got a shot at it. Will it hit it hard enough? No, it went by it.
Short pin.
Yeah.
That's what he's thinking. Had the momentum, but missed.
All the way, all the way.
And another mark for Dave Hodge. A couple of marks, 4th of the string. And he opens up a little bit of a lead over Anthony Pastore. Anthony now facing back-to-back spares in the 7th and 8th frame. He's heard that once or twice before, I'm sure. That time he missed the head pin.
Probably doesn't find it especially amusing at this point, though.
Right through the opening.
Tony, pick it up.
And it'll be a 7, no, it'll be an 8 box for Anthony Pastore. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, we'd like to hear from you, and our email address is right there on your screen, bowling@WNBS.com. And we try to respond to as many of them as we can. Here's Pastore in the pocket, in the 1-3 pocket, and he left a tough shot.
You would like to have had that piece of wood shift around to be parallel with 2 and the 4.
And a 6 on the right. Let's see if he can make it. Nope, he tried to play the left side of that wood and missed it. So the early lead goes to Dave Hodge. Anthony picks up the 10 box. That's what he tried to do the first time around, but missed the wood. So now Dave Hodge looks for some bonus money. We haven't given away any bonus money yet in this match.
Sit down, Dave.
Dave with a strike. There's some bonus money right there. That was a little bit of a slow motion strike. Looks like he's going to have a tough shot left, but the pins kept on mixing. Looking for number 2, and will it be? Well, he's got the 1, the 3, and the 6. With a piece of wood in the back that appears to be frozen to the 3 pin. Not going to make it. And that will be a 10 box and a 144 first string for Dave Hodge.
Well, last week fired off a 402 for a win over Chris Sargent.
Anthony Pastore with a 9-pin drop.
That was a nice solid hit right in the 1-3 pocket, leaving only the 4-pin with no wood. It's a nice direct shot, but misses it off to the right. Get another chance at it now for the 10, and misses it the other way. So 9 box, and even with a mark, still will find himself 25 pins behind at least. Dave Hodge, who finished strong with 3 marks in his last 4 boxes.
Want to acknowledge a note we received from Kevin, I think it's Fanton, from North Reading, Massachusetts. Anthony with a tough shot and a great spare.
Beautiful.
Big shot for Anthony Pastore. Boy, oh boy, of all the spares and all the shots you think you're going to make, that did not look like one of them.
Paul Willett, who's our official scorer, will remove the piece of wood. Came rolling back in front of the deadwood line. That's one of his, that's on the job description of scorekeeper, also pin runner.
Sit down, Tony.
Anthony Pastore with an 8 in the spare and a 117 first string. A good finish. A 27-pin lead for Dave Hodge over Anthony Pastore as we head to string number 2 of our championship match in the first ladder series of the new season. We come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this on WNDS TV. Anthony Pastore first to bowl. The second string, he'll start on lane 34. I mentioned we got a note from Kevin Fanton from North Reading, and he enclosed an obituary from noting the passing of Emma Krigos, who worked at Bowmore Lanes in Milford, New Hampshire for many years. She operated it, I guess, Mike, as I read through this obituary.
Not familiar with her. We're always sorry to lose anybody in the Candlepin bowling community. I'm sure folks in that part of New Hampshire will remember her. May have bowled there during her years.
She opened it on August 3rd, 1961. So our condolences to the family of Emma Krigos. There's Anthony Pastore.
Nice spare. He's left some difficult combinations as we take another look at this shot. Ball going between the 1 and the 2, and it all went down according to Hoyle. Now, Dave Hodge's first ball in the second string.
Tough shot for Hodge. The 1-3-6 on the right, the 7 in the left corner. And that will be a 9 box.
It's a good payday for both these men today. Our first prize, $1,500. Runner-up is $1,000.
There's a strike for Dave Hodge. The 5-pin was a little bit of a reluctant participant, but watch it in the middle. It gets tripped at the very end. It's still standing. There it is. And it's going to get nicked right there, and there it goes. It didn't want to, but it did. Pastore working on a spare. Spread eagle.
Well, when he's been on the head pin, he's been punching out. When he's been off the head pin, he's left some difficult spares. He needs to, I guess, split the difference somehow and hit the head pin a little bit to the right or to the left. But flush usually gets you a big spread eagle. That's a very good out for a spread eagle. Close to 30 pins down behind Dave Hodge.
Nice shot by Anthony Pastore. Another mark for Anthony. Hodge works on a strike. Spread eagle. Another ball to fill the strike. He'll put 6 in the strike. And that will be an 8 box for Dave Hodge. He'll shift over to lane 33.
Told us that he did a whole lot of bowling during the summer in hopes of improving his game, and well, here he is, first telecast of the new season, and he's in there as the #2 seed. He is officially out of the bowling business, had been part owner of a couple of bowling centers, Melrose and Gloucester Bowl. As Dick mentioned, works at the Marriott Long Wharf in Boston these days. Girlfriend Michelle is here today, along with mom Lillian.
We'll go to the break. Anthony Pastore works on a spare. When we come back, a chance to get a little bit closer. When we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, it's Candlepin Stars and Stripes on WNBS TV. Anthony Pastore on lane 34 working on a spare. He came into the match trailing by 27 pins, and he has a chance to get a little bit closer. Can he break up the split? He puts 8 in the spare. So he's gained back 7 pins and a chance for a spare here.
Some very favorable wood.
Will it go? Ooh, it went in front of and behind the 10 pin. How is that pin still standing? Just the breeze should have knocked it over. That'll be a 10 box.
Tough break for Anthony Pastore, who really gave it a great effort.
Anthony will shift over to lane 33. The bowlers find the 2 lanes that we use, 33 and 34, very different. Anthony with the 8 and the 9. Now that's an unusual leave.
Yes, sure is.
We very seldom see that leave. The 8 and the 9 in the very back row.
Well, he'll use that piece of wood over to the right side and
try to sweep it.
Yep. Be a tough shot. It's a long shot, but can be done.
There it is. It's a great shot by Anthony Pastore. That is a Candlepin bowling shot supreme. Using the wood. Now here's Dave Hodge, and he's going to have a tough shot.
5, 6, and 10. There's a piece of wood that could help with the kickback off the right-hand side. Depends on how he approaches this.
He will be open in the 5th frame,
as was Anthony.
And that'll be a 10 box for Dave Hodge, a 51.5. Now he's up against a mark. Right on the head pin. And, well, I thought the wood was going to be a little bit more of a help than it turned out to be. It did not settle between the pins. He's got a shot at it. Missed it. That pin went right through, right between the 4 and the 8. And that'll be a 9 box. So a chance now for Anthony Pastore to get right back into the hunt.
Get this down to less than 10 pins with a strike right here. Working on a 6 box spare. Neither bowler headed at a 400 clip today, although Dave Hodge with 144 opening could be there.
Anthony Pastore buries one right there. No doubt about that one. Watch it again. This one takes no time at all as they all cave in. Looking for bonus money now. Anthony, he threw a half Worcester.
It's demoralizing after you throw a crusher than to throw the half Worcester. But he will not have to use 2 for a fill unless, of course, he goes through the hole.
Oh, great spare. Converting the half Worcester. $50 in bonus money for Anthony Pastore. 5th mark of the string. Dave Hodge responds with a good pocket shot. The 5-pin stands. Never moved an inch. And the mark for Dave Hodge.
Turning out to be a really nice match after a 27-pin difference in the first, with Dave Hodge leading now. Anthony Pastore has closed the gap. An 8 drop on the spare for Dave Hodge, leaving the 7 and the 9 with a whole bunch of wood. 4 pins in front of the 9 pin. One of them will spray over, perhaps.
Not going to happen.
And will fall into the left gutter.
Al Renzi from Framingham sent in a copy of a magazine that goes back a few years, Michael. You'll get a kick out of checking this one out. He only had one copy of the magazine, so he made us a copy of the copy. From January 1962, Candlepin Boulder magazine.
I'd love to see that.
Anthony on the spare, puts 6 in the mark. Look at this. Anthony Pastore is on fire. 4 marks in a row. Great shot by Anthony Pastore. On the spare. And a strike.
Somebody tell him he's bowling out in the 10th frame. You get 2 more balls here, young man. Too excited. Forgot that it was a 10th frame.
He's got to finish the string. 5 marks in a row for Anthony. 7 in the string. 144 plus whatever he gets on the strike. He's at 150. .152 second string for Anthony Pastore. 117 in the first string, a 2-string total of 269. We're going to have a tight match. Here's Dave Hodge. Punched it right through the middle on lane 34. Hodge had a 27-pin lead after the first string. Right through the middle. And that will be a $7 for Dave Hodge. He's at 95 with a box to go. Pastore a 30-pin lead minus whatever Dave Hodge gets in this 10th frame. And Dave throws a good first ball, breaks up the split. 9-pin drop. And a spare for Dave Hodge. .105 plus a ball. So it's a 20-pin lead minus whatever Dave gets on this ball, and that's what the difference will be going to the 3rd string. He threw a good ball. It'll be an 8-pin, maybe a 9-pin drop. It will be a 9-pin, maybe it'll be a 10-pin. It will. How about that? So 10 pins will separate our bowlers going to the 3rd and final string. 152 for Pastore, 115 for Hodge. In the 2nd string, as those 2 pins took forever, but they finally went down. We've got ourselves a horse race as we're headed to the 3rd string of our championship match of the first ladder series of the season. We come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua right after this on WNDS-TV's Candlepin Stars and Stripes. Anthony Pastore had a 27-pin lead after 1. Gave away that lead and some to Anthony Pastore's 152 in the 2nd string and trails by 10 and starts out with a strike. Watch it again. He buried it right in the 1-3 pocket. Perfect shot by Dave Hodge. Perfect way to start the string. 2nd box right through the middle, working on a strike. Another ball to fill the strike. He threw it right at the head pin, though. Can't take that away from him.
It's a pretty interesting magazine that we received from Al Renzi.
Well, he threw it right through the hole, so it's a 5-pin fill in the strike.
This is a magazine called Bowler. 35 cents, 1962. With bowling tips from Tony Baldinelli, certainly names that people would recognize. This is terrific. Cape Cod Chatter was one of the sections of the magazine. New Hampshire Bowling Association. Mentioning
I'm losing me and you. We both disappeared there for a second. We're both back. Here's Anthony Pastore. He will start out with an 8-pin drop and wanting that 4-pin in the back to fall forward and take out the 2-pin, but it didn't happen. The 2 and the 4 stand, wood between them. And the 4-pin still stands. Don't know how, but it's still standing. My, oh my. And that will tighten things up just a little bit more. And that'll be a 10 box. It's a 5-pin Pastore advantage through completed boxes. Wonder what the subscription base was to Candlepin magazine back in 1962.
Well, that was pretty much near the heyday of Candlepin bowling and bowling in general, 10-pin as well. Lots of advertisements in the magazine. It was a thriving industry back then.
Anthony Pastore with a spare opportunity that goes by the boards.
He also sent along a copy of a league recap sheet from May 16th, 1967.
He gained back a couple of pins in that box, so it's a 7-pin lead for Anthony Pastore. And LeadALanes.org, that's one way you could find out about the next roll-off information and other things going on here at Lead A Lanes. Get online, LeadALanes.org, and you'll be up to date. An 8-pin drop for Dave Hodge, a spare opportunity, and Paul Willett will run down there and pick off that piece of wood that's rolling out toward Dave Hodge. He's letting it roll to see if it'll start rolling backwards toward the pins. And now he pulls it away. Dave Hodge on lane 34 with a spare opportunity here. Will he play the wood? He did, and he got the spare. A spare for Dave Hodge. Who did he point to in the crowd? He pointed back to somebody in the crowd. Got the spare. In the spare, he puts 7, 8, 9. 9-pin fill in the spare for Dave Hodge.
A nice thin hit on the Brooklyn side. Got everything to mix up except the 6-pin.
6-pin stands.
Great fill, though.
Looking for a mark. He could take the lead. He missed it. And it'll be a 9 box for Dave Hodge. That's one to put an asterisk next to as we head down the home stretch. Here's Anthony Pastore.
A big score gives you better seating in the Tournament of Champions, a secondary level of today's match, besides the obvious remuneration of $1,500 for first prize.
Well, Anthony threw a good first ball, but look what he has to show for it. He's got the 4-pin on the left, the 10-pin on the right. There is wood angled well.
Interesting shot here.
This looks like it could go. And there it goes. Big spare for Anthony in the 3rd frame. His first mark of the 3rd string. Right on the head pin, but he's got a split. He's got the 3, 6, 10 on the right, the 7 on the left. And he'll be open.
This match is nearly even.
Just about dead even. It's an 8 box, and it is dead even. Is it not? No, it's a 3-pin lead for Anthony Pastore. As we go to the break, we're coming back, heading down the home stretch, a 3-pin margin of difference with Anthony Pastore in the lead over Dave Hodge. We're coming back to Lead A Lanes for the stretch run right after this on WNDS TV's Candlepin Stars and Stripes. Dave Hodge to lane 34, trailing in the match by 3 pins with 6 boxes remaining. Missed the head pin, half Worcester. Both bowlers with open frames in the 4th frame. Dave Hodge threw a good ball right there and didn't get a lot to show for it. Now he's just trying to pin as well as he can. And that'll be a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10. That was unbelievable. Watch it again. Watch the ball. Keep your eyes on the ball. Here comes the ball.
1, 2,
there.
3.
Unbelievable. Here's Dave Hodge. He was trying for some more magic right there with the pin.
I don't think I've ever seen 3 pins in a row go down like that before.
4 horsemen plus the 8 pin in the back row. He will be open again. An opportunity for Anthony Pastore. That will be a 9 box. No magic there for Dave Hodge. So 3 open frames in a row for Hodge. And an opportunity for Pastore to take advantage.
First time on TV. Will he make it to the Tournament of Champions? We'll know in the next few moments.
Threw a good ball. He threw a great ball, and he has the 5 and the 7 with a piece of wood well out in front. What do you say, right side of the wood?
But he did. Didn't get a bank off the wall.
Make the shot. So he'll be open in the 5th frame. With a 9 box. That means there's a 2-pin differential. Would you like to get in touch with us? That's the mailing address, WNDS TV, 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. We would love to hear from you. Here's Anthony Pastore on the Brooklyn side. A 9-pin drop and a tough piece of wood.
So he's either got to nick it on the left or cap the wood perfectly to take out the 6-pin that way.
That's a tough piece of wood. He made the shot.
Nice.
So Pastore will have a 3-pin lead plus a ball. Terrific shot by Anthony Pastore, and Dave Hodge needs to mark. And he does.
Pressure
Answering
shot.
the call. Watch it again. He went to the Brooklyn side. The 10-pin was the last to go. 2 in a row for Dave Hodge. $600 in our triple strike jackpot.
Actually, 575.
575. I'm sorry.
600 will be next week if Dave Hodge doesn't nail one on the next frame.
575 next time he steps to the line. That one got away from Anthony, and he's going to put just 4 in his spare.
And just like that, fortunes have changed.
And control of the match now belongs to Dave Hodge. And a 9 box. And Anthony Pastore finds himself in a position now where he needs to mark badly. Anthony Pastore on lane 33 missed the head pin. He will have a tough shot. He's got the 2-4-7 on the left, the 9-pin on the right. A couple of pieces of wood could come into play. Ooh, he missed the shot. 2 open frames for Anthony Pastore.
Up against a double strike, devastating. Possibly more than he can recover from.
And that's a 9 box, and Dave Hodge in control of the match. A 5-pin lead plus whatever he fills his strikes with.
And a big chance at $575.
$575 shot right here. He missed the head pin.
Fills with 4 on the first strike. Hasn't filled the second strike yet.
He fills it with a mark. $50 in bonus money. $50 in bonus money and the lead in the match. And another good first ball with an 8-pin drop.
Takes a deep breath.
Great finish by Dave Hodge in the third string.
I think the adrenaline is flowing with this young man right now.
Very emotional bowler. Missed the spare. Well, that leaves the door open a little bit for Anthony. Not a lot.
Only mathematically.
Yeah. And that will be a 10 bucks and a 142. Anthony needs 48 pins.
There's a 401 triple, Dick, so
Another 400.
4 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
400 at least. And decent seating in the Tournament of Champions should he go on to win here.
Pastore needs the mark, and he throws a spread eagle. And that will do it. How quickly things change in Candlepin bowling. We have seen it happen so many times. And a 10 box for Anthony.
Gets an appreciative round of applause from the hometown fan. Still a resident of Nashua while attending Curry College. Worked here in high school. Came up through the ranks in the junior program, as Chris Bovair, a Tournament of Champions winner in the past, has. As many young bowlers you watch have been in the junior programs. We encourage you to have your kids be a part of it, at least to see if they like it. Great activity.
Anthony is at 103. And 104 for Anthony Pastore, a 3-string total of 373. A 28-pin win for Dave Hodge over Anthony Pastore, and a berth in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the season. We will be back to talk to our bowlers in just a moment when we continue from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. It's Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV.
Oh, we had 4 matches, and each one a 400 triple to win. Let's check those pins.
Yeah, and how consistent is Dave Hodge? 402 last week, 401 this week, and I would say pretty decent seeding for the Tournament of Champions.
Yeah, not too shabby. A 401 this week to beat Anthony Pastore's 373, and a berth in the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year. Let's meet our bowlers first. Let's bring up our runner-up, Anthony Pastore from Nashua. Come right between us, Anthony. The runner-up money, it's $1,000 for the runner-up money. We have some bonus money for you as well. $50 for having the high string in the match, and another $75 in bonus money. A pretty good payday for the first time on TV. Let's talk about the butterflies that you felt when you started out, first of all.
I didn't have too many butterflies. I was very anxious to bowl. Couldn't wait to bowl.
Once you got that first strike early in the match, did that settle you down quite a bit?
Yes, it did. That helped out a lot. Helped out tremendously.
Bowling here at these Leda Lanes, your home lanes, an advantage from a comfort standpoint to be feeling at ease at the start?
Yeah, I had a lot of people here, rooting me on, so that helped out a lot too. So I want to thank them.
Of course, up till just a couple of years ago when you were in high school, you worked here at Leda Lanes, and of course we've been taping the show now for 6 years. Did you ever think that someday you'd be standing up here and getting a check for $1,000?
Someday I did. Probably not as soon as right now, but I'm happy it happened now.
You are a communications major, so what are you looking to do once you get out of Curry College?
You want your job, Mike?
Take your job.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like this guy. Get him out of here. Well, who knows? You got a lot of good bowling ahead of you before you take the microphone, though.
Anthony, congratulations. Great appearance. We'll look forward to seeing you
again. Thanks, man.
Anthony Pastore, our runner-up here this afternoon. And a fine performance. He acquitted himself quite well. Now the bonus ball, Mike, will reach into the bin, and we'll pull out a card, and we'll try to match him up with a lucky number and see what we have, and let's see if we can get Dave Hodge to match the lucky number. And this is Rita Colby from Manchester, and Rita picks 8. Dave, it's up to you.
That's your assignment.
And 8, we have what?
$40.
$40 in cash.
$40.
For Rita Colby of Manchester. If Dave Hodge can put an 8 on the board. And it is an 8. A winner. Rita Colby from Manchester. Let's bring Dave Hodge up. Come right between us, Dave, if you would. We'll do some housekeeping. We'll present you with the winner's share. That's $1,500. We have some bonus money for you as well. Another $100 in bonus money in the third string. 402 last week, 401 this week, the model of consistency.
Man, I don't know. I'm blank. I don't even know what to say right now.
Just say you're excited. And
I'm more than excited. I love this. This is the best feeling ever. I waited my whole life for this. It was a great match, and he put a lot of pressure on me. And